I've now been out 6 months, and in fact, we're 2 days short of 6 months. But I want to give you a report from the field of someone at that mark, because everyone else is just kind of recollecting where they were at this point in time and giving you the best answer they can. I'm going to tell you right from the horse's mouth exactly what we got going on here. I want to talk to you about why there's such a huge turnover by now, huge turnover by now for truckers, whether for new CDL drivers, let's say. We're going to talk about that. We're going to talk about a bunch of things. I kind of jotted some stuff down over the last couple of days to go over, and let's just do it. I was going to bullet point and let you know everything first, but let's just get through it. Okay, month 5, you'll either quit, or month 5, Month 5, you'll either quit or you're going to be fired by now. We'll go over the reasons that you'll quit. Well, let's do it right now. Okay, the lifestyle wasn't what you thought it would be. You get up, your alarm goes off, ding, 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 ding. You get up, you've got 1 hour to get yourself ready, and you're waking up in a truck that you're in every single day. You wake up, you throw on some clothes, you got to go to the bathroom, something fierce, happens every morning. You'll get out, and if you have, once you've been out about 3 months, you'll have enough strength. Get inside and go to the bathroom, but you'll notice that you're waking up in a truck stop where it just smells like urine everywhere because people are peeing in between their tires and between the trailers. So, not a glamorous place. You're not waking up on Cocoa Beach. You're waking up in a truck stop that smells like urine. Okay, so you get out. Oh my God, it smells like urine. I go into the truck stop, which is just a glorified 7-Eleven. At first, they'd be way cool. They'd be way cool for about 3 months, and then it's just they're all the same. They don't change them up so that Sacramento's is different than New Denim's to kind of give you a different feel. They're identical. It's the same stuff. So you go in. You might pass the driver's lounge. Driver's lounge is kind of sketchy. Just everyone's just dirty. They stink. Oh my God, they stink. They're watching TV, and you're just making your way to the bathroom. So you go in the men's room, you do your thing, and you come back out to your truck. Now you got 1 hour. So normally, like myself, I grab a cup of coffee, grab a bite to eat for breakfast. I come out, I start doing my pre-trip, and just get ready to go. There's no time for a shower. I'll shave, where I do shave. I brush my teeth, but there's no time for a shower. Okay, there's just no time. You got 1 hour to get out of there. So you come back out, you do your pre-trip, fire up your rig once it's time to go. You might throw on Pandora. Let me go over that real quick. For entertainment purposes as a trucker, Pandora is probably the best tool you got. You can put on I would put on 25 different artists, different genres, different ages that you like. That you like. I'd also recommend getting into the trucking ones. I can't even begin to list all of those. I can't even begin. I'll try. Merle Haggard, Dick Curlis, Jerry Reed, Red Simpson, Johnny Cash, Willie Nelson. Anyway, I'll try to get you a list here. Post it at the end. Anyway, you plug in all these artists onto your cell phone, and then you hit shuffle, and it will play all those artists. It'll play what songs that they have, and those that aren't familiar. It'll also find similar artists. It might pull up Ernest Tubb, other artists that you didn't put in. It'll put in there, and you've got your entertainment. You've got with 25 artists, you're going to have over 1,000 songs because it's going to find about 10 artists for each of those 25. So now you're at 250 artists, 10 songs each, or 5 songs each. What would be put you over 1,000 songs. And I think I have, gosh, I've probably got 40, 50 artists in mine. So that's your entertainment factor. So you'll fire that up. You'll fire up your GPS, and got those things going. You're good to go. And you get your phone away from you. Your phone should not be within reach. There are even some companies, such as this oil company that I hauled for, you can't even be on Bluetooth. It's against their policy for you as much as be on Bluetooth while hauling their loads. And you will find that Bluetooth does, even though you're hands-free, if you're on a conversation on a phone, it does take a certain portion of your attention, and you will do things, you will make mistakes that will make you sick because you never make that mistake. For example, maybe on a right-hand turn, you might run clean right over the grass just because your attention was divided between making the turn and listening and talking on the phone. Been there, done that. And I was sick because I never run over the grass, and it could have been worse. All because I was on the phone, on Bluetooth, hands-free. So you fire up your rig, you got your entertainment. If you followed my advice, every 3 hours you'll get out and you'll check your rig. You'll especially check your tires, and you'll check your electrical. Because if you pull into DOT and they see that there's a tire problem, or they see there's a light problem, and you said, well, but it was fine on my pre-trip, I don't care. They care about right now. So I check it every 3 hours. I've also identified, I've had lights go out while I've been out driving. I've had tires start to show some serious serious issues, and was able to get it fixed at a TA rather than having a blowout on the highway and hope I don't kill anybody, which happens. And recently there was a guy who had a blowout. His tire went. A woman swerved, hit a guardrail, and died because he semi-knew about it. And was trying to get somewhere to get it fixed. He's on charges for voluntary manslaughter. So it's a big deal. All right, check your stuff. So you do your 3 hours. Okay, so now it's the end of the night. Either you ran out of your 11, or you made it to a destination. Now you're gonna shut down in another urine-smelling truck stop. That is detailed to everything I told you about the one in the morning, and you've got 1 hour, and then you got to get to sleep. And you know what's going to happen? Even at month 6, you're going to be so doggone tired that you might not even take off your clothes. You'll just crash. You'll just crawl back and crash. Okay, and then all of a sudden, ding, 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 alarm goes off. Boom, you're up. You got 1 hour. Go. This goes on in my world. This goes on for 28 days straight. Okay, and you say, well, that's not possible. You have to have a 34-hour reset. No, I can run 8.5 hours, 8.5 hours, stop, get my 1 hour pre-bed prep, which I may have the strength and may feel able to go take a shower. Maybe. Maybe, trust me. Same thing goes for laundry. Sometimes, well, I won't get into that, but you got 1 hour, back to sleep. Trying to think of what else I want to cover. So 28 days I do that. As far as the 34-hour reset, no, as long as you run about an 8.5 hour days, you can run every single day. And usually in that 28 days, there's usually once or twice where a shipper took forever or wasn't ready or something went wrong, and I end up getting a 34-hour reset somewhere not exactly pleasurable. For example, oh my God, if you have to stay at the Shell for 34 hours there, the Shell service station, there ain't jack to do. I walked a couple miles and walked a couple miles back, and there was nothing to do. So that's our reality. And it's just day in and day out. So those are some things. I'm not even sure I can get into everything that I really want to get into, but let's talk about why people are fired by now. I'm going to give you my company's example, and I think they probably are pretty industry standard. Okay, by now you will have guys that started the same time as you fired. Okay, let's go over why they might be fired. They may have not immediately reported any accidents, incidents, or injuries. They may not have reported an inspection where a violation was noted. They may have had an unauthorized passenger, pet, or human in the vehicle. They may have had steer tires that are worn on the steer cords. Now, this is a big deal. You say, well, I check my steer tires all the time and they look fine. You got to watch out. The first 2 inches on the outside and the first 2 inches on the inside, they can wear out and you not even notice it, and they can wear down to secondary rubber. And it's all because your alignment's off. You got a blown shock, and it can wear down fast, and it won't be all the way around the tire. It'll only be like 1/4 of the total circumference of the tire. So if you're not paying attention, if you're not getting out and really looking at these tires, you can miss it, and you can lose your job. So that's why I like to check them every 3 hours as well, because the tires rotate and I can see different aspects of the tire that I didn't see before. And I've seen a lot of problems. I think the majority of my problems that I've had on tires have been within like a 12-inch by 12-inch area of zero tread. Okay. Let's see. May have been pulled over for driving in a reckless or dangerous manner. Then you're fired. If you didn't inform your company immediately of any citation or action taken that has an effect on your CDL, you got caught without your license or your medical card on you while operating the rig. You were caught not wearing your seatbelt or wearing your seatbelt properly. You got a citation or even a warning for being observed following too close or tailgating. You can't receive a citation for failing to obey a traffic control device, a stop sign, a yield sign. And I'll tell you what, stoplights are no joke. Be real careful. Oh my God, they're no joke when it comes to these rigs. If you got 44,000 pound load on there and you're humming along and all of a sudden that light just lickety split turns yellow and then red, it's ugly. Okay, and a lot of these places have cameras they'll get you. You can't receive more than 2 speeding citations or warnings resulting in violation points on a roadside inspection in a 2-year period. So 2 years, you can't have more than 2 speeding tickets or 2 CSA violations on an inspection. Okay, you've got to observe the company's drug and alcohol policy. For my company, that means if you want to have a drink, you need to be at home. The rig needs to be at company property, and you can't come in contact with that rig for 12 hours after your last sip. And they do random tests, and it's just a mouth swab real quick when you're in to see when at the yard it happens. Let's see. And you may not use a cell phone to send text messages while driving. You may not use a handheld phone to make or receive calls while driving. And though regulations allow you to use a hands-free phone to make or receive calls, the company strongly discourages such phone use while driving. But getting busted for having the phone will get you fired. Now, there's I don't know how many states, but there are states that if you have a digital recorder in your hand, any kind of electronic, they'll actually tell you any electronic device in your hand, it's a citation as if you have a phone. I think it's Nevada that's really big on that. I can't remember which one it was. Maybe it was Oregon, Washington, I don't know. But no electronic devices. So no cameras, no nothing. I usually like to use a memo recorder so that I'm not trying to write things. Because if you try to write something while you're driving, if you're trying to grab a piece of paper across the dash, oh my God, I can't even tell you things that you'll do. I've gone back on a dairy, and I was cruising down their back road, and it was paved, and I just reached over to grab a piece of paper. I was trying to grab it, and doing that, my steering hand followed me, and I went a little bit off the road into the dirt. Well, that dirt was super pitched, and I won't say that I about rolled the truck, but I'll say that it tilted enough that I was glad I had all my other tires up on the road as far as they were, and I immediately, pulled it back 2 feet or so back up on the road, and I thought, you know what if that had been about a 5-foot canal? What if that had been a ditch? I would have just now rolled the rig. I couldn't believe it, over a piece of paper. So you got to be careful out there. Okay, so we talked about, now let's talk about family. For the first 5 months for you, you're going to have a blast. You're having fun and you're getting paid for it. But your family, that's a whole nother ball game. They're not getting anything out of this except a paycheck. And what they're finding out while you're gone is that you're getting paid for 11 hours, up to 11 hours a day. You're getting paid 70 hours a week. But out of a 24-hour day, maximum, you're only getting paid for 11 hours of it. So you're working for free. You're being away from home for free for the company 13 hours a day. You're not doing anything. You're at a truck stop and you're not doing anything fun. You can say, well, I'm going to watch a movie, this or that. Yeah, I think I've watched 2 movies in 6 months. You're too tired. You are too doggone tired. It takes too much concentration to operate a rig all day to just say, well, okay, now I'm going to have some dinner, I'm going to watch a movie. Man, you're Superman if you can pull that off. So, again, so your family's not having the best of time with this. I currently run 28 days out, and then I'm in for 72 hours, okay? That's the way it needs to be. It's not the companies are being hard on you. It's that they put X amount of dollars into that rig, and that rig needs to turn a profit. It can't cost them money. It needs to make the money. And for it to make the money, it's got to keep moving. It's got to do, in my company, it's got to do, we aim for 10,000 miles a month, at least. So 2,500 miles a week. And so it's got to move. It's got to go, 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 which means when you want to go home, it's got to stop. Well, if it stops, and then they're not making money, so there's a problem. With me, I tell them, hey, been out 4 weeks, 4 times 7 is 28. I'm scheduled to come in for my maintenance. I've got to have my maintenance, and they know that if we don't do the maintenance, it's going to break down. If it breaks down, then we're going to be down for weeks. So, hey, I got to come in for my maintenance. I also need, that time with my family, and run errands and stuff like that. So, I mean, you just go, 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 go. So I will be home out of 365 days a year, around 36 days. So a month worth, I'm home. Now your family, what they're going to do is they're going to do the math. They're going to say, well, wait a minute. The money's good, the insurance is good, but if you stay at home and work 2 jobs at 70 hours a week, which I don't want you to do, I'm sure your loved one will say, I don't want you to do that. But let's think about it. If you did do 70 hours at 2 different jobs, you'd still be home every night, and you'd still have a day off on the weekends, quite possibly, depending on how your schedule's set up. But you're home every night, if I don't know, that's all I'm going to say. But you're home for the same money, and anytime that you're not getting paid, you're home. Whereas out here, most of the time you're not getting paid. 13 out of a 24-hour day, you're not getting paid. So there you have it. So that's gonna kind of catch you off guard, and then eventually what's going to happen is you're going to get those 2,500 miles, and you're like, yeah, I did it. I got 2,500 miles. And then you're going to see your paycheck, and you're going to think, oh my God, are you kidding me? That was a lot of work for just that amount of money. And my company pays 32 to 42 cents a mile for a rookie. Once you hit your 3-month mark, or your 30,000 mile mark, you get up to 32 to 42 cents an hour, depending on the run that you're doing. And when you get those 2,500 those 2,500 mile weeks, you look at your check thinking, oh my God, that was a lot of work. I really thought I was going to get bank on this. And it's not that you didn't get a good pay. It's just that you've gotten used to good pay, and now your expectations have become elevated. Plus, there's times where you'll send in your Qualcomm stuff. Maybe you'll send in some of last week's with this week's, and that check will be like $900. And then on another week, you only send in a couple, and that check was like $350, you know. But on the average, you were actually, say, $650. Take home pay after insurance and all that stuff. $650 a week is what I personally average. I've done more, I've done less, but now that I'm at my 6-month mark, I'm finding two things. A, I'm a lot faster. I can get things done quicker. That doesn't mean I speed. It means when I get to my shipper, my receiver, unhooking, doing paperwork, hooking, doing my satellite Qualcomm stuff, I'm faster at it. And then I'm also finding that I'm getting runs that just are easier money makers. They're long, and we just go. We just go, and add up the miles. Other times, I'll get runs where I've got 4 or 5 stops, and each of those stops is an extra pay. And when I get my check, holy smokes, that extra stop pay, oh my, like half of my base pay. You know, you might get a check for $675, but then all of a sudden your stop loads are like, you know, $254, $300. You know, those are nice. I like those. So anyway, I don't even know where I was at. I know I was talking about pay and stuff. Just want to get through stuff as quickly as possible. Family, paid for. Let's see. Oh, okay. Personal sacrifices. You have no life. This is what you do 24/7. This is it. This is it. I don't hunt. I don't fish. I don't go hiking. I don't do nothing. I can't. The truck has got to keep moving. I sit behind the wheel, and I make sure this rig operates, and I make sure nobody's killed, and then I shut it down, and I go to sleep. I wake up, and I do it again. That's all I do. Okay? Thank God for things like Facebook. You can kind of keep in touch with friends and family, find out what's going on in the real world. Pandora is another great tool that we have these days. You know, but, you know, I try to do the best I can to make something of it. I talked about on the other videos that when I can, I try to eat at places that are unique to that area. Texas barbecue, Portillo's hot dogs in Chicago, and that makes it fun for me. That's the only pleasure you have as a trucker outside of trucking itself is food. That's all you have for pleasure. You're not going to the movies. Yeah, you're going to get behind on what movies have even been released. You'll have no idea. You'll see them on DVD, and you're like, well, when did that movie come out? Type of thing. And you'll ask people, was it any good? You are completely out of contact with the real world. That in that truck is all you know. Cleanliness. Oh my God, I haven't washed this truck in 6 months. I haven't had time. When I go back to the yard, it's whether or not the washers are there, and then if they can get to you, being the spur of the moment type thing. The inside of my rig, I just never have time. Not that I make messes. The only thing I even eat in there is protein bars, and then well, you know, if I have my fast food and stuff like that. But you know, I don't store food. I don't even store drinks. Buy my coffees and stuff like that. There's just no time. There is absolutely no time. Let's see. Anyway, moving forward. Okay. All right. Here we go. Here's the situation. So you're going to start thinking, what the hell am I doing? I'm working. I'm getting paid for 11 hours. I have a 24-hour day. I'm making all these sacrifices. I don't get to do anything I like to enjoy anymore. I don't watch baseball. I don't watch football. I don't have time for anything. I barely ever have time for a shower, ever. So, well, we won't get into that. Okay, I barely have time for a shower. When and if possible, which your first 6 months when it comes to your energy levels, you're looking at about a shower a week, maybe every other week. You're just going to be too doggone tired. It's hard work. So anyway, moving. Okay, so you're going to start thinking, well, what am I doing and why am I doing this? Maybe I can put together 2 jobs at home and be home. Like you're going to say, there's nothing I want more than to wake up in my own bed, to use my own bathroom and shower, to be away from work and all my, my own time out, my own life. I want to get up into my own vehicle and drive to work and do my job. And I want to come home and I want to make dinner. I want to take off my boots. I want to have dinner. I want to relax. I want to watch a movie. You're gonna miss those things, and you're gonna think, well, why am I doing this? Not to mention, once you start realizing how at risk you are for getting killed or killing somebody else, and when I say killing somebody else, I mean, for example, pulling away from a dock that you thought was clear, and the forklift was actually just pulling on or pulling off your dock. A forklift going from dock height straight down to the concrete. A lot of forklift drivers die. You look it up on Google. It rolls over on them. They smack their head back up on the steel plate. They smack their head on the forklift. There's a lot of things. You're talking. I mean, those things. I don't know how many pounds they are, but they're super, super heavy. They're all steel, and people die. I had one where I pulled away. I thought I heard some noise, and he comes out and he's holding his head, and I look back there, and the forklift it's stuck, it's wedged in between the truck and the dock, but not quite touching the ground yet, and he could have died, is what they told me after the incident, was that people die from that. So it's not everything that you think it is. I mean, it is, but it's a lot more things that you can't imagine until you get out here. And those things are what you're going to see your first 6 months. Those are going to start making you think, oh my God, how about this one? You ever sat in a parked car in the heat? Wait till you have to sleep in your rig in the afternoon and it's only 66 degrees outside, but it's like 86 degrees inside your rig, and you can't idle because it's not 81 degrees outside. And all you can do is just strip down, make sure you have a plastic bed covering, have a sheet, and just lay out on the sheet with a fan. And I mean, you are dying. That'll be a culture. That'll be a shock to you. So there's a lot of things. I love the job. I love what I do. I love my job. But I wanted to give you a full image of what you got going on out here. Now, with me, I did the same thing. I'm like, well, I'm giving up everything for this, for something that I could do at home. Granted, my thought is if I go home and I work 2 jobs, I'm not going to have 2 jobs I enjoy, and I'm going to be miserable. But it goes beyond that. Once you start getting out here, you realize this nation does not function without you, and there's a shortage, and you're needed out here. What is needed out here are safe drivers and filling empty trucks, because things have got to get moved. If you go to Safeway in Spokane, Washington, I probably brought your groceries all the way up from Sacramento. If you bought coffee in Vegas, I brought it from around Carson City. There's so many different things. Diapers, I've delivered diapers. I can't remember what state I picked them up, but I took them to another state because they're not made there. You are in high demand for for functionality. Your store shelves, your fueling stations, the chlorine that's used to treat your public water, probably chemicals at your sewer treatment plant are all replenished probably within every 72 hours. And if that's not getting replenished, then the nation shuts down, and now you got a problem because things aren't getting moved around to where they need to be. So what we do is a real big deal. We just don't see it because everything's working so well, and we take it for granted. We've never had a problem. We've never had communities starve because of the industry having a problem. But we're on a thin thread of that every single day. So you're needed out here, and that's what drives me out here. Being former military is the patriotism of what we do here. Okay, moving forward. Let's see. Okay, month 5, when you start thinking about, well, what am I doing and why am I doing it, and resolving. That's when things get cool. A couple things happen that are real cool at month 6. Certain insurance companies out there that insure certain companies, they can now hire you. They now authorize that company to hire you. They can't have anyone with less than 6-month experience. For example, Dick Simon, Dick Simon's Sons Trucking. Anyway, Simon Trucking. You have to have at least 6 months experience. So now you're no longer considered a rookie in the industry by the insurance companies that tell a company whether or not they can hire you. You've just reached a whole new level. And I'll tell you what, your backing skills are awesome by now. Your overall skills are great, but your backing skills are just awesome by now. And you're a much safer driver not because you've been on the road 6 months, but because you've made mistakes and you've had near mistakes that have taught you real life experience on what to do and not do out here. That's what happens your first 6 months. That's why a lot of people get fired, because they may get 3 preventables. They did 3 things that they could have prevented that got them fired. Maybe they made a right-hand turn and scraped a pole. Maybe they backed into a car. Maybe when they were backing. Anyway, preventables will get you in trouble. And by now, by month 6, you should be pretty darn awesome. But be careful. We used to say in the fighting world back in the 90s, to people that had been experienced after a while, you now know enough to get yourself killed. Meaning, you now know enough to be confident what you do and be aggressive at what you do, but you're still green and you can get yourself in trouble. You still have to back up, back off, relax, do things slow, and do it just like you did as a rookie. Keep repeating what you did as a rookie. Don't think, well, I can now book it through this truck stop, and I can fly around this corner, fly around that corner. Don't go there. You'll get yourself in trouble. Okay, so let's see. So at month 6, you're good. You're no longer a rookie. Once you hit a 1-year mark, some insurance companies will look at you different. Once you look at a 2-year mark, a lot of companies can now start picking you up. And at 3 years, I mean, you've got so many opportunities. But at 2 years, you've got a lot of opportunities as well. And also, you become more of an asset to your company. You're someone that they want to hold on to. You're worth something once you hit 6 months and come out clean. You're an asset to the company now. You were a trial for the first 6 months. Now you're an asset, and they want to hang on to you. So now they're going to start listening to you a little more about your requests and things like that. And they're going to start giving you more opportunities. You're just going to start seeing more money. And that's just at month 6. And most people will say, you know, your money's going to suck your first year. And then after your first year, it'll start looking better. I've started looking pretty darn good at month 5. And everything was great before then. I never did not have money. I can always get a cash advance if I wanted. Always. $100 a week on a cash advance. And I get shocked. Just when I think, man, that was a lot of work, boom, there's a bonus check for that work. and I'm just dumbfounded, just absolutely blown away. So at month 6, you're getting good, and now you know what kind of trucks are out there. You know what kind of trailers are out there. You know what kind of loads are out there, because hopefully you've worked for a company that does all kinds of stuff, and you're going to start finding out what your favorites are. For example, for me, I like the classic Kenworth 900 series with the drop axle, which would give me another 25,000 pound rating. I like the flatbed trailers with the triple axle and then the drop axle, so it's technically called a quad, but there are quads out there that are fixed. I like those because it gives me more carrying capacity. I like hauling hay. And I've done that. I like hauling for the oil companies. I've hauled what's called super sacks. You'll become familiar with those, of oil lubricant from Houston all the way up to Colorado. I enjoy doing that. I enjoyed working with those Texans. So you start finding out what it is you enjoy, and rather than saying, well, I'm going to leave my company and at my one year mark, I'm going to go do this, I'm going to go do that. No, just start talking to your company. Say, you know what? I really enjoyed hauling hay for that ranch there in Colorado to California to that dairy. I really enjoyed hauling that super sack stuff from Houston to Colorado. And they'll listen, they'll listen. But even though I have my favorites, I don't request anything, because for now, at 6 months, I want to keep going around. I love hauling paper. I love going to Longview, Spokane, in these different places and getting, these umpteen thousand pound rolls of paper and hauling out of there with 44,000 pounds of rolls of paper that fill up half my trailer. You're just going to find out what you enjoy, and you need time to know what's out there. I haven't done a tipper yet. Apparently we have places we go where they spray in grain into your trailer, and then you go out on this platform when you get to your destination, and they have you get out, disconnect your truck, they open up the doors, and this thing just tips up and dumps all that grain out. I haven't done that yet. Moving on. Rookie insurance, I talked about. Stop pay, skill, reasons fired, entertainment. Okay, don't forget, with these electronic devices in your truck, your phone, iPads, things like that, the only electronic device that you should have running is a GPS, and even then, per Smith system guidelines, you should only never have your eyes on that more than 2 seconds. Okay. Note that if you have a cell phone, iPhone, iPad, something, and you get caught, it's a $2,500 fine. If you get in an accident and somebody dies, which happens, you're going to prison. That is your ticket to prison. Your cell phone is a ticket to prison. And the reason it's a $2,500 fine is because everyone thought they could get away with it, but way too many people were killing people doing it, thinking they were fine. So that's your ticket to prison. Don't have your cell phone, iPad, anything within reach. Not personally, I don't even like to have my notepad or a piece of paper within reach, because I've had near issues just that way. If I'm going to pull in, into a city that's going to be tight, I'm not going down industrial areas, I'm going to stop before I hit the city, and I'm going to pre-plan in my head, where are my exits and what do they look like, because there's a lot of places in this country where you don't exit the freeway on the right, you actually exit on the left, and then once you get off on the left, all of a sudden it zigzags this way, zigzags that way, and if you're not in the right lane, you'll miss your zigzag and you'll zigzag off onto another destination in the city, and you're thinking, oh my gosh, how do I get turned around? And there's some places that are not pretty for turning around. Down San Francisco is not a pretty place to get messed up. Those places, I wouldn't even want to drive an SUV in some of those places. I've gotten a hold of my dispatch and said, hey, I'm stuck in residential / boutique slash coffee shop area of San Francisco, and I can't turn around. The streets aren't wide enough for me to turn around. All I can do is keep going straight. So please call the consignee and tell them that I'm 2.5 miles away, but I can't figure out how to get turned around yet. So you got to plan that stuff in advance. Anyway, I'm not sure what got me off on that. We'll see here. Just be careful. Oh yeah, so your devices, yeah, don't have your devices going. Don't rely on your GPS. When I got in trouble in San Francisco, let me just tell you, in San Francisco, I'm coming down, I knew I needed to get off on Cesar Chavez, okay? My GPS goes out. I didn't know if I was supposed to go left or right off of Cesar Chavez. I went right. I got in, like, it's called Bernal Heights, B-E-R-N-A-L Heights, okay? And all I see are tall homes and businesses on each side of the road. I can't see any more than that. And I'm going down this road that I got just enough room, and I'm looking around. I'm like, I don't see any other tractor trailers out here. This is not good. All the streets are way too tight to take a right-hand turn. I couldn't do a left-hand turn either. So I'm going straight, and finally I hit a street called Folsom. And I'm like, oh, this is wide enough, and I don't see any no truck signs. This is perfect. I turn left, the street is flat, and then it starts curving, but I got all these trees canopying over the road, so I can't see what's next. I'm going up, and it starts climbing, and all of a sudden there's a sign that says, trucks not advised beyond here. There's nowhere for an 18-wheeler to go left or right and get turned around. All I could do was back up illegally into traffic and into an extremely busy intersection, one of the nation's busiest. You know, they're going 25 miles an hour, they're bumper to bumper. So that's not happening. So I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, oh my God, I've got to go up, and then I've got to go over, and I've got to come down. Going up, I later found out online, it was 11.5% grade. So if you know Parley's Canyon in Utah, or any steep canyon in the nation, the highways are going to be max, with exceptions, 6% grade. This was 11.5, so 0.5% less than double most highway steep canyon mountain grades. So I throw it in first, and I'm chugging up it, and I'm thinking, I'm just getting myself in deeper and deeper water here. If anything fails on my system here, I'm going to have to air brake it all and lock it up on this hill, and law enforcement's going to have to come, and it's just going to be a wreck. And then I'm going up, and I'm thinking there better not be any stop signs, there better not be any stoplights, there better be a good left-hand turn that I can take. And it wasn't cool. And I get up there, and all of a sudden I see this park. I'm at the top of a mountain. And it's this park that overlooks San Francisco, and it got steeper. And that's when I said, no, I've got to turn. I turned onto a street called Ripley Street. I barely fit down that street between the cars on both sides of the road. And it drops down like a rock, but at this point, I mean, going down forward was much more comforting than going up and risking falling back. So now I'm going down, and I get to a nice wide street called Alabama, and I turn, and I'm going down it, and I'm thinking, thank God, I'm going to get out of this. I'm going to get out without a scrape. And I'm going down to Cesar Chavez, but then I notice there's these little power lines about the size of my finger. Maybe they're cable lines. I don't know what they are. They're all over the place, strung all over, haphazardly across the street, and I'm clearing them probably by like 6 to 12 inches, and I'm just thinking all it takes is one to hang too low, and I'm going to rip that out. Utility companies and I'm going to lose my job. It sucked. And yeah, normally you want to get out and look, but I'm on 11.5% grade. I'm not going to park the truck. I'm just going to watch my mirrors. And I creeped up to each power line, and I watched to see, did it just come up and touch my trailer? Or was it clearing? I was only going like 2 miles an hour down here until I could get past those lines. And I got down to Cesar Chavez, took a right, and made it off to my destination. So the point is, be careful with electronic devices. Be careful with your GPS. Your GPS may even give you the wrong destination. That's always fun, even though you put in the right address. And just be careful with that stuff. before you go into an old town like San Francisco that was built before 18-wheelers were built, old Chicago, New York, any of those places, you'd better pre-plan in your head, like go through your GPS and actually do a fly through, and so that you know, okay, I remember this. As soon as I get across that bridge, I got to take a left, and so you'll go up over the bay and then boom, take that left because you remember, not because you're going across the bridge and listening for your GPS's directions. I've also had the GPS go off, and I didn't even know it was off. I just kept on driving, 45 miles in the wrong direction, and then I looked and then I had to go back. So that's an hour and a half. 90 miles of fuel wasted because my GPS decided to go to sleep, type of thing. Be careful. Let's see. Exercise and fitness, your first 6 months, good luck. I'm a pretty die-hard fitness person. I've been in the military, I've played rugby, I've been a personal trainer, done a lot of things, and even still at 6 months, I am dog tired at the end of the night. And normally, I used to get away with 6 hours of sleep. As a trucker, I need my 8, hands down. I need that 8 still at 6 months. I'm exhausted, absolutely exhausted. And there'll be so many times where at about 8 hours of driving, you're going to start dozing. And let me just tell you right now, when you start shaking your head and blinking to stay up, you're in big trouble. And here's the problem: a lot of places won't have room for you to pull over and take a snoozer. Oh my God, I've gone like 45 minutes to an hour before I could pull over, and I was furious at California for putting all these concrete barricades and all this stuff, not having room on the shoulder for me to pull over in an event that I'm falling asleep and could total a rig and kill somebody. I was furious. At one point I got off the exit, I pulled to a Home Depot. No, there's signs all around saying no trucks, trucks will be towed. And I got back on the highway. In hindsight, next time I will park at the Home Depot. I will go to sleep at the Home Depot. And when they knock on my door, law enforcement knocks on my door, I'll say, hey, I've been here, I've done this. Somebody would have been killed. That's why I'm here. I'm not doing it because I'm lazy. I'm here because there's no room anywhere else for me to go. And I was falling asleep so bad, even though I was driving entirely legal, that somebody was going to die. So I'm sorry. If you got to give me a citation, give me a citation. But my apology. That's just the way it is. Anyway, moving forward. And you might think, well, you can just get off at an exit. No, there's a lot of places in this country, particularly in California, that if you get off the freeway, you might not get back on. And when you get off, you might not fit in those streets. That's always fun. There's a lot of places like that where you will not fit in an 18-wheeler. So you've got to be careful. Let's see, devices, recorders, prison. All right, well, month 6, here you go. This will probably be my last report because this is when people either say adios or have been fired. So you've got all the information you need. I've really given it thought over the last several days, and that was the information that I felt was most important for you. So have fun. Be safe. Okay, I promised you a list of artists that have music history meshed with trucking history, and I'm talking 60s, 70s, and 80s type of thing. So let's go over those names right now. Here we go. I'm going to give you male and female. Patsy Cline, Patsye Cline, Johnny Cash, Hank Williams Jr., Jerry Reed, Merle Haggard, Willie Nelson. Let's see. George Jones, Waylon Jennings, Charlie Daniels, Dale Reeves, D-E-L, last name R-E-E-V-E-S, David Allen Cole, C-O-E. I would put in Chris Ledoux as well. L-E-D-O-U-X is the last name. I'd also put in the Judds, J-U-D-D-S. Mickey Newberry, Jerry Jeff Walker, Chris Christopherson, Bobby Bear, B-A-R-E, Bob Wills, W-I-L-L-S, Dave Dudley, Dick Curlis, Conway Twitty, Tom T. Hall, Guy Clark, Billy Joe Shaver, the original Lost Gonzo Band, Towns Van Zant, Bill Kirchen, K-I-R-C-H-E-N, Buck Owens, Don Williams, Hank Williams Sr., Robert Earl Keane. Can't remember the deal on him. You're on your own on that one. I'd also put in Loretta Lynn, Dolly Parton, Tanya Tucker, Dwight Yoakam, Johnny Paycheck, Roy Acuff, A-C-U-F-F, Ernest Tubb, Marty Robbins, Hank Snow, Earl Scruggs, Bill Monroe, Tammy Wynette, possibly Carl Smith, and that's a fantastic list for you.